Welcome to Canning with Colette, knowing your altitude. How important is it? Altitude, often referred to as elevation, is how high something is compared to sea level, or the distance above sea level to a certain point. And it's important when it comes to safe canning, therefore you must know your exact altitude of the address you will be canning at before you even begin. Here's a small video clip to somewhat explain. Alright, so that's just a small visual of how different locations of where we live show up in regards to sea level. Did you know that water boils at different temperatures according to your altitude? If you live at sea level or below 1,000 feet elevation, your water boils at 212 degrees. However, if you live above 1,000 feet elevation, you will need to figure your altitude adjustments for both water bath canning and pressure canning, because as your elevation goes more than 1,000 feet above sea level, the atmospheric pressure is reduced. This causes your water to start boiling before it reaches 212 degrees. I thought that was very interesting. But remember, when we're canning, we're trying to reach certain temperatures inside of our jars to kill off any microorganisms that might be there. When water bath canning, your food must be heated to 212 degrees. So, because of this, you will need to compensate for the temperature difference by increasing the processing time. For example, if you live between 1,000 and 3,000 feet, you will need to adjust your water bath recipes accordingly by increasing the processing time by 5 minutes every single time using the water bath method. The pressure in a pressure canner is also affected by the same atmospheric pressure. A pressure canner needs to reach 240 degrees in order to kill the microorganisms that cause botulism. To compensate for altitude differences, you must increase the amount of pressure used. The time does not need to change, only the pressure used. For example, someone living at an altitude between 1,000 feet and 2,000 feet elevation, they would be required to use 15 pounds of pressure with a weighted gauge or 11 pounds of pressure with a dial gauge. Most approved canning recipe books are written for an altitude at sea level or up to 1,000 feet above sea level. However, they will provide you with adjustments to be made for your specific elevation, if need be, as shown here in the all-new Ball Book of Canning and Preserving on page 15. When home canning, you can call your county extension service for specific instructions, or to find out your elevation, you can go to Google Earth or www.whatismyelevation.com and get your exact elevation. Now that you have learned how important it is to know your altitude and or elevation, find out what yours is, and if you have a canning book, write it somewhere on or in your book so that you will always know and never be in doubt to run the risk of processing unsafe canned food. I hope you receive some value from this video as you move forward in your canning journey. See you in the next class, and remember, we can do this. Peace, y'all.